after 3 years and miss after miss after miss, we finally get Marvel Jesus. Let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, so this is the MCU's first rated R movie, and I think it's a great choice. Deadpool is finally part of this crazy universe, and there's a lot to unpack. Now that Disney has bought Fox, Deadpool's third movie has finally come out after 2 years of anticipation with the Hugh Jackman.
Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Which is crazy that the announcement was back in 2022 because he said he was never going to be Logan again. But I guess if it's the MCU and it's Ryan Reynolds and you get a buttload of money, you know, it's hard to say no. After the recent fails with the MCU, like Ant-Man Quantumania, the Marvels, the controversy around Jonathan Majors, there's been talks about the MCU veering away from the multiverse saga and rebranding altogether. So with this movie coming out, people had a lot of hope, but also people held it at a higher standard for how it will set the tone for the rest of the MCU. To be honest, since the beginning of phases 4 and 5, I've lost a lot of, excitement for this franchise. Don't get me wrong, I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy. No Way Home and Shang-Chi were really good, but everything other than that has been mediocre and nothing ties in together. So even in the months and weeks leading up to the movie, I wasn't theorizing and getting excited like I would had pre-Endgame. So I went into this movie blind, and I'm happy I did because I was pleasantly surprised by the plot and the cameos. Now it's time to talk about the movie, which means this is your spoiler warning, but I mean, come on now. This movie has been out for about, 2 weeks now? So if you haven't seen it, turn this video off and go find a screening right now. The plot of this film is pretty straightforward. I think that's where the majority of my criticism comes from, and the villain is pretty surface level. To put it simply, after the death of Logan, their universe's anchor being, Deadpool is told his universe is beginning to die. Even though it would take millions of years before the demise, a villain in the TVA doesn't want to wait around that long and tells Wade he will zap the universe out of existence in 72 hours instead. Of course, Deadpool isn't cool with this ridiculous decision and tells them he will find a new anchor being. In this process, we find a new Wolverine who is a drunken failure in his universe. So while trying to save Deadpool's universe, they get sent to the void and confronted by Cassandra Nova, our villain. So I want to talk about my criticisms before I talk about everything that I loved about this movie. Cassandra Nova wasn't anything special for me. I think she could have been written better. She was just one of those villains that just want to take over the world, just because. I know why. It's because she wasn't loved and blah, blah, blah. But like Deadpool said, why don't you just shove those feelings down until it turns into cancer like the rest of us? Trying to end the world because your brother didn't love you is wild. Other than her, the movie was so good. I've already watched it twice, and I'll probably watch it 3 more times, and I can't stop watching TikTok clips, and Bye 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 has been on repeat since opening day. Let's just start there. Can we just all agree that this is the best superhero intro of all time? Really, what can compete? Amazing Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight is a close second for me. I don't know if it's recency bias, but the euphoria that I got from that 5-minute sequence was insane. That was such a high. Why does anyone do drugs? From the fight scenes to the song choice to the dance moves, shout out to Nick Pauli for his incredible talent. And my favorite creative choice in a film is when they incorporate the name credits within the intro. So I loved that touch. So my boy Deadpool is back. And if you were to ask me back in 2018 if I liked Deadpool, I would have said no. I didn't like part 2. And on my first watch of the first Deadpool, I didn't like it. Let me finish. Wait. However, after some odd years, I rewatched it and I do like part 1. I do think it's a really good movie. But I think a part of it is that, especially when it comes to the jokes, I feel like he was held back when it comes to Fox in the sense that he couldn't really reference a lot of the things that he could in part 3. So the jokes definitely landed better for me in this one. Even during the second watch, okay? So I'm unbiased. I was still laughing out loud during the second watch. So that means that the jokes were really real. It wasn't just me laughing because, oh, they're referencing something like Avengers or something like that. No, I actually enjoyed the jokes. And my favorite joke was from Todd when he's telling Wade, I had a friend that got nipple piercings and with a chain attached that goes to the red nether regions. And then you just find out later that he was talking about himself. I thought that was so good, bro. I was dying. I was dying in the theater. Anyways, it's been said over and over again, Ryan Reynolds was made for this role. No one else can truly grasp the charisma, the annoyance, and the comedic timing like he can. And speaking of people made for this role, pretend that there's knives coming out of my hand. Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine and in his comic accurate suit. After 25 years of playing this character, I don't know how he's able to top himself every single time and bring a new take to the character. Seeing him play alongside Ryan Reynolds just felt right. They're just so good together. Okay, so let's do a quick rapid fire of my thoughts on all the cameos. Sabretooth was cool. I mean, he was killed in 2 seconds, but the Mad Max theory was fun. Pyro was also nice to see again. He was a little annoying, but he was funny at the end when he was telling Cassandra, like, why don't you just... How about you ask before you're putting fingers in people's heads? Like, you know what I mean? Like, ask me a question first. I thought that was funny. I thought that was good. Henry Cavill was cool. That was something different. I loved that. And I love how when he, got his claws out, he did the little... reloading his guns from the, like he did in Mission Impossible Fallout. So that was I like that little, like, nod to Mission Impossible fans, which, if you know me, that is my number 2 franchise. It's Marvel and it's Mission Impossible. I guess Marvel's like all the way up here, and then it's like all my number 2, 3, 4s, and 5 is down here. I love Mission Impossible down, okay? We're not gonna get into it. Elektra was nice because Jennifer Garner is just so beautiful and she did so well in this role. I never watched any of her movies, but I liked seeing her, so that's all that matters. Okay, Blade! Woo! He was in this movie! Yeah! Yeah! I'm gonna be honest. I have never seen any of the Blade movies. I know, please don't kill me. I know. And I just know for the people that have watched the movies, and especially the people that watched the movies when they came out, this was a big cameo for them and it like hit bigger for them. Like, I've always known Wesley Snipes. I've known the character of Blade. I know who played it, all these things. I know what the character is. I know all about like Blade or whatever, but I never watched his movies. So it was still really cool to see on the screen when he came on, and he did his thing. The acting was there. He still looked good, So, but I never watched any of the movies, so I wasn't like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, cool, Blade. Yo, Gambit was in this movie. It was nice to see Channing Tatum in the role, in the comic accurate suit. I'm glad after 10 years of fighting, Ryan Reynolds advocated for Channing Tatum to be this character because he's been waiting to do this. And it was just nice to see that when they listened to the fans, because it definitely paid off. On my initial watch of this movie, the first watch, I was like, what's up with the accent? Like, I'm not feeling it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But apparently everyone on the internet does. So no, it's really great. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, guys, please don't cancel me. I love it. Okay. But I do love how Deadpool addressed it, because what are you saying, bro? Ooh, I'm about to make it a name for myself now. I felt like it was a Jamaican accent. I'm not even gonna cap on y'all. But if that's a French accent, go off, King. I'm just happy he got his thing going. I'm just happy that he has this role now. Oh, and like another one, like the girl came back, X or something. X-23 came back, which is pretty cool. Like, that was cool. It wasn't as touching as it could have been because it's not the same guy. It's not like they brought the same Wolverine back from her universe. Obviously, they wouldn't do that because he's dead. But you know what I mean? Like, he's cool. Like, that was a cool scene. That was nice. I don't know what to say. I thought it was nice. It was cute. And yeah, that's it for cameos, right? Gambit, Pyro, Blade. That's it. No, I'm joking, okay? Chris Evans was in this movie, y'all. Christopher Evans was in this movie, okay? I didn't know that he was going to be in this movie at all. And I'm going to be honest with you, I cried. Full tears. Because let me tell you something, y'all. Like, I never thought that Chris Evans was going to come back to the MCU, ever. Like, I thought that, Captain America was done, even in multiverse, like, ways. Like, even in the multiverse, I even knowing that the multiverse existed, I did not think that they would bring back Chris Evans. I felt like Chris Evans was just done with the MCU, all that stuff. So when he took off that scarf, whatever he was wearing, I was in tears. I was like, that's Chris Evans. Like, that's Captain America. Like, I'm thinking, that's Captain America. And I'm like crying, right? And then I'm thinking the same thing as Deadpool. I didn't think he was gonna say Avengers Assemble, but I thought it was Captain America. I'm sitting there like, okay, like he's about to like summon the, the shield, like let's go, And so I'm like Deadpool, and he's like, okay, Avengers. He says flame on. He says flame on. And I didn't think I was even gonna see Johnny Storm on the screen again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was, I think Fantastic Four is like the first Marvel movie. No, maybe not. No, yeah. Fantastic Four movies might be the first Marvel movies I'd ever watched. Because that was 2002, 2004, around there. I know that X-Men were the also like around the first ones that I'd ever watched. Like X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man were like the first MCU stuff I'd ever watched. And I remember growing up, I'd watch Fantastic Four on repeat. And I would be that person that I'm like, I love the Fantastic Four movies. I liked part 1, but then part 2. Every time I try to rewatch part 2, it doesn't hit as much. But I rewatch part 1 all the time growing up, all the time. And I was like, oh, Johnny Storm, that was cool, but he's Captain America now, and we're just gonna accept that. And he said flame on, and he went up in the sky, man. That was so cool. And then his end credit scene was so funny when he was telling off Cassandra. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about that scene too, when she takes his skin off. It's so funny watching those scenes. Those cutesy little scenes. After being a The Boys fan, she took his skin off. It was so funny because you could hear people, not everyone, you could hear people in the audience be like, oh my gosh. And I was sitting there like, huh? I was like, oh yeah, this is crazy for the MCU, right? But I'm just so used to The Boys that it's like, oh, okay, his skin fell off. She took his skin and he fell to the ground. Oh, oh, it's crazy. But anyways, Chris Evans, seeing him back on the big screen in an MCU movie was the highlight of the entire movie. But the absolute best part of this movie, this is the girly pop section of the review, guys, that we always do. It's the girly pop ending, okay? The absolute best part of this movie was when Wolverine came out. Listen, y'all. When Wolverine came to save Deadpool at the end, when Cassandra was doing the most, and he holds his hand, and then he retracts his, and the shirt just rips off of him in a million pieces. Wow, Hugh. Wow. And the thing is, listen. If I was Hugh Jackman, I'd be like, yeah, it's in my contract that I get a full shirtless scene and it's in slow-mo. Yeah. You see the work I'm putting in for 25 years? It's in my contract. Read the line. It says shirtless scene, 5-minute shirtless scene. And it was beautiful. I feel like the world came together in that moment when that shirt bursted off of him. It was really, really great. And the mask stayed on. Really? That mask stayed on. That was another good scene too when he pulled up the mask. And he was just, he was Wolverine. What else was great? Oh, the shirtless scene. Did I say that already? Yeah, that was all great. I loved Gordon Reynolds in this. If you know, you know. I loved Gordon Reynolds. Nice pool. That was awesome. Lady Pool was cute. That was a cute moment. I'm just trying to make sure I say everything. But anyways, my review of this movie is an 8.5 out of 10. It's because of the villain. It's because of the villain and the surface level plot line that I can't give it a 10 out of 10. I'm trying to be realistic and not try to be too biased because I just love the MCU so much, I'm trying to give it a real review. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Also, let me show you my Funko that I just got, okay? It is so cute. It's Wolverine and Baby Pool. It's so cute. I gotta collect the rest because this is the only one they had at my store, so I gotta get the rest of them, but they're so cute. But anyways, let me know down in the comments what you thought of this movie. If you think that my review is fair, make sure to like and subscribe. We're gonna do a live stream talking more about Deadpool, San Diego Comic-Con. Maya's Robert Downey Jr. back. What is going on there? So we're gonna talk about that. So if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. All right, see y'all later. Bye.